Hey everybody, welcome back to the Marketing Connect 5-minute follow-up. I am your host, Tom Libby, the co-founder, one of the co-founders and the CEO of Marketing Connect. And today I have with me, again, I'm going to say it again, one of my favorite guests, Ruthie, who was with us on our podcast before. And I brought her back because I had a couple of questions that I thought might be, we want to go a little bit deeper in. So before we get into that, Ruthie, if you could explain to us, sorry, not explain, but remind us who you are and what you do in your company.
Okay, yeah. So I'm Ruthie Bowles. I'm the founder of Defy the Status Quo Marketing. We are a authority marketing and personal branding consultancy, and we work with CEOs, executives, speakers, authors, anybody looking to grow that personal brand as a leverage point for better and more effective and more human marketing. I'm also a U.S. Army veteran. I'm a mom to 4 kids, and I've got a random collection of farm animals, including goats, ducks, and chickens, and my husband, who's not a farm animal. He's just added to the list. So
Totally
that's
get it.
me. I'm from California, live in Maryland, and I am super happy to be here.
Fantastic. I don't think I could beat that intro either. So I'm glad you did that. So the part of the podcast that really caught my attention was the part where we started talking a little bit about, and we're limited to time on the podcast, but I want to give you this full 5 minutes to talk a little bit about hiring of agencies. So you're going to give advice to a client on hiring an external agency. Let's just give you the floor and talk about some of the things that you open up with your clients about how to do that.
Yeah. So one of the big things that I always advise is that you want to, if you're on the phone with somebody and you're exploring, working with them and they're an agency, or even as a solo consultant or freelancer, the one thing you want to make sure is that they are considering your business goals. So as humans, we all create initial impressions as part of our survival instinct. Like there's nothing you can do about that. But when you have a business, so let's say the agency, right? So from the agency perspective, you have a business that's helping other people. You have to make those initial impressions, but then you have to be constantly reassessing them. And so if you're the client, then you are always looking for someone who is reassessing their initial impression. If I look at you and I say, oh, they're in this industry, they appear to be this size, we've definitely worked with companies like that in the past and gotten great success. That's my initial impression. But I have to continue to reassess that as I talk to you about your goals. Your business goals may be different than those clients I had in the past. Right. And so that is like a flaw typically in the discovery process for a lot of agencies, is because they make that initial impression and they don't consciously work on reassessing and changing that impression as based on the needs of the potential client. So if you're on the client side of that, did the agency ask you about your goals? Did they ask you to go deep on those goals? Did they ask you about your motivations for those goals? So the goals are really important, because if I'm the agency and you come to me, oh, this is great, Tom, you'll love this. So if I'm the marketing agency, which I am sometimes, but if I'm the marketing agency, I'm asking you about your goals and I'm asking you what you think your problems are, right? And he's like, you know what, we get a ton of leads, Ruthie, but when it comes time to close them, like our close rate is just really low. And I'm like, okay, so you want to work with me? And they're like, yeah, generate more leads. I'm like, well, why don't you just work with somebody to improve your close rate? Now, I'm not a sales professional, but I know salespeople that I can refer you to. But it sounded like they were trying to sell me, right? To have them as a client. Because they're like, yeah, Ruthie, got to have you. But like based on what they would tell me, right? I would have determined in this hypothetical scenario that they don't have a marketing problem. They have a sales problem.
Sales problem, right.
Right. But it sounded like they were trying to sell me on them. And I could have easily been like, yeah, let's do it. More leads. Right. And it's not to say that wouldn't have gotten them results. If their close rate maintained, then they would still have higher revenue. Exactly. But they would be making better use of the leads they were already getting by working with a sales professional, potentially such as yourself, in terms of actually increasing their close rate. Right? So same amount of leads and same amount of money they're probably already spending, but by instead investing in their sales process, they would actually increase revenue and make better use of all of their resources there. And that's kind of what it looks like when you're assessing a potential client, or, a potential client as assessing their goals and seeing whether or not you would be the best fit. People come to me because I work with a lot of business people. And so sometimes I talk about things that aren't related to personal branding. And, that does inspire a lot of confidence. One of my big things right now is your foundational biology supporting your psychology. I'm not a fitness professional anymore, but I'm very passionate about that subject because it's easy for you to go and drink more water and make sure you don't skip lunch, and you're going to have a better day for it. And as a result, you will perform as a better business owner. But I'm not a fitness person. So people come to me for a variety of things, and I'm like, nope, got to refer you this way and got to refer you that way. But I only know that by actually digging into their goals. And I try to reflect that as much as possible when I do speak on these types of calls, to show the prospect that I'm listening to them, that I hear them, and that I care about them. And that, ties into like components of emotional intelligence, to be that active listener and to be able to accurately kind of reflect back what the prospect is saying to you. And so if you're a prospect, if you're looking at, you're potentially hiring an agency, you want to make sure that you feel heard. If you don't feel heard, they probably didn't hear you. Like they probably weren't listening if you don't feel heard. So go with that. Go with that feeling, right? If you feel like they were not listening to you when you were talking and they would have said, A, B, C, X, Y, Z, no matter what you said, then that's probably not the best fit for you.
Right. Well, we went over, but that's
really?
Okay. Yeah, don't worry. I'm gonna. I didn't stop you on purpose because I thought it was awesome. So welcome to our 5-minute plus follow up. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, thank you very much, Ruthie. I really, again, appreciate it. Your insights, you're dead on. 90% of the time I talk to you is amazing for me to listen, and I always learn something from you. I'm very appreciative of the time I spend with you. So I thank you very much. And if you do find that customer that needs sales help, let me know. I'll be happy to help. But anyway, thank you very much, everybody. Ruthie, thank you very much again. And we'll see you next time.